And just one last scan of your posture. Do you need anything? Are you comfortable? And one last little thing, if you're wearing glasses, my invitation is to take off your glasses. You're going to have your eyes closed, so you're not going to miss out on anything if you can't see the screen. And sometimes it'll take away from later distraction of the sensation of that pressure on the bridge of your nose or by the sides of your face. If you really want to keep them on, keep them on. All right, will we begin? I have no singing bells today. That's okay. All right, we're going to start now. So welcome everybody. My name is Karen Hall. I'm one of the trainers with Breathworks. You might have met me before, and if not, hello. Hello from Dublin. My plan is today to maybe give a bit of a preamble about posture and getting comfortable, and then invite you to close your eyes and just settle in. I'll read a poem and then start the guidance. And my invitation to everybody is just be really, really kind to yourself. If this is your first time ever meditating or your millionth time meditating, yeah, treat this like a completely new experience. You've never breathed this breath before. We've never experienced this moment together with each other before. So this is a completely new moment, a completely new meditation. So yeah, be curious about that. And maybe you like some things about it, or you might not like some things about it. That's fine. Just notice those thoughts of like and dislike coming and going. And if you find that you're starting to feel a little bit sleepy at some point and you don't want to sleep, then maybe open your eyes and let your gaze rest up on the ceiling somewhere. And if you find that your mind is really, really busy, maybe let your gaze rest on the floor or let your attention rest just there under your belly, the rise and fall of your belly. And if the phone rings or there's a knock on the door, yeah, just respond to that whatever way you want to. You can either tell that person gently and compassionately, I'm meditating now, or you can shout at them with whatever abuse you like. Guess which one is the compassionate response? And then just come back. You know, if an alarm goes off outside, a car alarm, or you can hear some disturbing sound, then just notice what comes up for you when that happens. Because that happens in daily life all the time, doesn't it? That moment that you want for yourself, that activity that you're involved in gets interrupted. And see if you can choose how to respond to those unexpected interruptions. All right. And one last thing. If at any point you find the posture you've selected becomes uncomfortable, I completely invite you warmly and 100% give permission for you to change your posture. If you need to go and lie down, by all means do that. If you need to stand up and roll your shoulders or use the practice, incorporate some mindful movement, do that. You know what you need. So yeah, take that initiative for yourself in this practice and do what you know will work for you. All right. So if you're happy to, closing your eyes, allow yourself to take a few nice, slow, deep inhalations and exhalations. You can breathe out through your nose or your mouth, whatever you like. And maybe on the next inhalation, hold your breath a little bit before you exhale. And then just let your body breathe itself, whatever is normal for you. I'm going to start with a poem by Derek Walcott called Love After Love. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself, arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, sit here, eat. You will love again the stranger who is yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit, feast on your life. Sit, feast on your life. And here we are now in this moment of our lives. Take a moment to explore what is here in this moment. And just notice what comes up in your mind in response to that. A cascade of thoughts, maybe, or sensations, or questions, or observations. Hello, mind. Thank you, mind. Just let go of all of that and maybe really allow yourself to connect with the body and its contact points, with whatever surface is supporting you. Beneath your head or behind your back, along the length of your spine, the backs of your arms or your elbows, underneath the pelvis or the sitting bones, the buttocks and the thighs, the backs of your knees, perhaps, or your calves, your heels, or the soles of your feet, just noticing. Where am I? Maybe take a moment to just notice if there's anything that needs adjusting in your posture. Where are the usual places that you hold your tension? And see if you can just let that go a little bit, release that. Maybe you often have a frown or your jaws are clenched together. See if you can raise your eyebrows up towards your hairline or your forehead. Let your jaws be a little apart. You can waggle your lower jaw a bit if you like and keep them a little apart. Let your tongue rest on the floor of your mouth. Let it be soft and notice if the face softens or if a little smile graces the corners of your lips. Notice where your shoulders are. Are they close to the ears? Have they climbed up? And if they have, just raise them a little bit higher. Breathe in and let them go. Let your hands be soft at the ends of your arms, resting on your lap or across your belly or by your sides. Notice if there's any tightness in the buttocks or the thighs. Are your knees close together? And maybe let your feet be hip width apart, whether you're sitting or lying down. Just letting the floor or whatever surface you're on take the weight of your legs. And just notice if there's anything snagging your attention at the moment. Something external or something internal. Just deliberately turning your awareness towards that, whatever it is, with curiosity. And once again, you might notice your mind jumping in, labeling something, categorizing it, choosing, does it like that or not like that? Just noticing the mind's reaction. And see if you can encourage the mind to just sit quietly and allow whatever it is to be there. And maybe there's also an emotion as part of that reaction to whatever has snagged your attention. It might be an irritation or frustration. It might be a sadness or an anger or a welcome, a joy. Or maybe the mind is telling some story. Allow yourself to be interested in any or all of these things as they arise. And maybe also notice how they pass away. Fleeting, transient moments, thoughts, sensations, emotions. Breathe that into your awareness. Whatever it is you've noticed, notice that you've noticed it. And then let it go. Maybe there's something really persistent, possibly difficult in your experience, pain or an upset. It might be quite difficult to turn towards or to be curious about. Maybe see if you can breathe into that a little bit, just soften around it slightly. And if you don't really know how to do that, just imagine that you're doing it, that you're breathing in some golden light, some warmth, and it's flowing to whatever discomfort is present. Imagine that breath flowing to whatever it is, a thought, an emotion, a physical sensation somewhere. And with each breath out, surrender a little bit more to gravity. Allow yourself to sink back into the chair, onto the floor or the cushions. Let gravity hold you. And if it helps, maybe put your hand wherever there's discomfort. If it's an emotion, a feeling, maybe placing your hand over your heart, whatever way is comfortable. Or if you have a pain somewhere in your leg or your tummy or your jaw or your head, just gently touching that part of your body, connecting with it with kindness. Allow whatever it is to be here. Allow this to be a little oasis of serenity, perhaps. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So allowing ourselves to accept the things that we cannot change in this moment. And if there's an opportunity to choose to let go of some hurt or some irritation, like putting down a heavy bag of shopping, then have the courage to choose that for a little while. Surrender that to gravity too. And allow yourself once again to connect with whatever anchors you to this present moment. Your breath, the sounds you can hear, the sensation of contact where your body is supported. Allow yourself to place your attention in your feet, letting your attention be like a beam of a torch moving down all the way to your feet, the left and the right. And if that feels a little bit undoable, maybe wriggle your toes if that's possible. There they are. There's my feet, toes wriggling. And once you've found your feet, you can let them be still again and just notice, are they warm or cold or neutral? Are there any other sensations you can notice while your attention is there? Are they bare or clothed? Maybe you're wearing socks or slippers or shoes, or maybe your feet are bare. Can you feel anything touching the soles of your feet? The threads of a carpet? The texture of socks or footwear? Maybe you can feel air caressing the skin of the feet between the toes or under the arches. Maybe there's a sensation of weight through your heels, the balls of your feet. Or maybe there's numbness or discomfort in one or both feet. Just noticing that, if that's true for you. Not as being good or bad, right or wrong, but just how it is at the moment. I wonder, can you feel pulsing or tingling or any sensation like that? Some involuntary movement of a toe. And then letting go of the feet, allowing your attention to move up into the ankle joints, noticing the angle. If you're sitting, kind of a 90-degree angle. If you're lying down, maybe a little bit wider than that. If you're kneeling, maybe even more stretched than that, some more pressure through that joint. And just notice the absence of pressure or compression, the absence of friction from when we're walking usually or moving around, weight bearing, these weight bearing joints at the moment, not having to bear much weight. Maybe you can feel the bony prominences on either side of your ankle, or the skin at the front, or the tendons at the back, if they feel tight or soft. Maybe they're a little bit swollen for you. Might feel a bit tight altogether. Maybe you're more aware of one side than the other. So be curious about that. What is it that gives you more awareness? Is it a sensation? And then deliberately move your attention to the other leg. What's different? And allow your attention to flow up along the backs of your calves, past your Achilles tendon, up into the wide muscular calves at the back, the skin on the inner and outer sides, and the shin at the front. We don't normally notice our shins unless we bump into something hard and sharp, and then we notice our shins. What do you notice now? Maybe the contact with clothing or the weight of a blanket. Something else? Just notice if this is interesting or boring. Be interested in either one. What does being bored feel like? What does curiosity feel like? Is your mind engaged? Let your attention flow up into your knee joints. Again, these weight-bearing joints, not having to bear the weight of us standing or walking or running or carrying the shopping or whatever you do when you're driving a car. Just resting here. How do the knees feel? The kneecaps, the front of the knees, the soft skin at the back. And how the upper part of the knee flows on up the thighs, into the pelvis, into the hip joint. Noticing how that feels. These legs getting to have a bit of a rest. Are the muscles soft? A little bit flattened by the weight of the body through gravity. Noticing those connection points in the pelvis, the torso. Even though we're sitting or lying quite still at the moment, still you might notice the body moving with the breath, swelling and subsiding on the in and the out breath. You might notice the chest expanding as you breathe in. Just noticing the arms perhaps being moved by the breath, the inner sides, the armpits, the shoulder joints rising and falling with the in and the out breath. And maybe just noticing where that breath is entering your body. Maybe you can feel your nostrils flaring a little bit as you breathe in, or the coolness of the air going through the nostrils, down the airways, into the lungs. This whole body breathing itself. And just noticing this whole body here in this moment, all the way from the head, through the limbs, down the torso, all the way back down to the feet. Here we are now, in another new moment. Before we bring this practice to a close, one last poem called Is My Soul Asleep? Is my soul asleep? Have those beehives that work in the night stopped? And the water wheel of thought, is it going around now? Cups empty, carrying only shadows? No, my soul is not asleep. It is awake, wide awake. It neither sleeps nor dreams, but watches. Its eyes wide open, far off things, and listens at the shores of the great silence. It is awake, wide awake. It neither sleeps nor dreams, but watches, its eyes wide open, far off things, and listens at the shores of the great silence. But just allow yourself on the edge of that great silence to begin to move a little bit. Maybe wriggling your fingers and your toes, pulling your toes towards you, pointing them away if that's comfortable, rolling your shoulders, having a stretch, maybe turning your head from side to side. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Have another sip of water. You've been half an hour on the shores of that great silence. You might be thirsty. Thanks very much, everybody, for coming together as a community to practice together. I firmly believe that we're like a little pebble that sends ripples out into the world of peace and compassion and loving kindness. So thanks very much for being part of that. And remember, it starts here, having that peace in your heart, comforting yourself and giving yourself compassion, and then it can spread out to wherever else it needs to go. Take care of yourselves. Have a good evening, a good week, and see you next Tuesday.
Thank you, Karen, for beautiful practice.
Thank
Bye.
you,
Karen.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. See you.
Karen. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Care.
That was
Thank
lovely.
you.
Thank you, Karen.
Oh,
Thanks
pleasure.
very
Thanks a
much.
million.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Karen.
Bye.
It's been great.
Pleasure,
Thanks so much, Karen and Mark. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks very much. Bye.